gorilla stomping in a zoo. Check the vocals, animals gather right. Boom.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. This is just going to be a quick little project here today. Something I've been meaning to do now for the past week or so. But since the chicks went into the coop in the back, the kids, in order to get up and look in over the Dutch door, they've needed to bring out their little plastic chairs from the house. And if it's a rainy day or if I had freshly cut the grass, we're going to have to clean their chairs when we bring them back inside. So I figure the best thing to do is make a little step, just to step up to the outside door of the chicken coop so that they can peek in over and be able to watch their chickens. So I got a bunch of scrap wood here. I'm hoping that I got enough here to make a little step. I haven't really come up with a design yet. It's going to be kind of done on the fly, but I think we'll come up with something so that it can be removable, but for the most part we'll just leave it in the front of the chicken coop for the kids to crawl up anytime they please. So kids, we also went for a little treat today to McDonald's, and the two kids got some Minion toys they wanted to show off to y'all. So there's...
I got a Minion ball and a girl Minion.
That's right, we got a girl Minion over there and we got a boy rocker here.
And mine did come with a ball, but I just didn't want to show the ball in the video.
That's right, hers came in a ball, but it's over away there right now.
And I got a Minion ball here and a girl Minion, and it has hands and a body.
That's right, it has hands and a body, and it's a girl Minion. Alright, so we'll get to work, try and come up with some kind of design for this step. I got measurements as far as what I need for height and width, so pretty much just go from there. So let's explore this one together. I'm going to be making it up as I go, so let's see how it goes. After a quick little bit of doodling, this is the kind of general idea I'm going for here, okay? So we got two steps, 9 inches in height for each one. 9 inches in depth for the treads, 18-inch total depth for the box, and 18 inches in height. So I'm going to try and make 2 frames equivalent to this, then join between those for support, put some plywood around it, and hopefully that should serve the purpose. So let's get started. Alright, so also with that plan, the actual width the step itself is going to be 30 inches. It's going to be a little bit less than that actually. It's going to be 28, just with the measurements of the scrap wood that I have here. So I'm going to begin, I'll do the bottom of the box, the part that's going to contact the ground, and that's going to be 28 inches by 18 inches. Now that we have the base dimensions cut, we'll get these aligned properly, get them glued and screwed. So these side ones, even though we want 18 inches here, I cut these at 15 because the top and bottoms are 1.5 inches each. So I had to take 3 inches off of the 18 in order to have the dimensions end up proper. now that we have the base started, now is the point in time where I'll start building some structure upwards, okay? So we're going to have 9 inches up for the first step and 18 inches up for the rear step. Again, I'm going to take off 1.5 inches for top and bottoms as needed, and so yeah, we'll just pretty much keep on going, build from the base up, literally. And if I need any new wood instead of the scraps that I'm using, I'll switch over to that as needed. So for the beginning of this front step, we got 1.5 inches already. We want a total of 9. I'm going to be putting another 1.5 inch runner going towards the back. So again, I'm going to take off the 3 inches off of the 9 that I want. So that gives me a piece 6 inches tall that I want to bring up from this corner. So I'll make 2 of those, 2 6-inch pieces coming up from these corners. So next on the list, now that we do have those 2 front supports done, I'm going to do a middle support. And in order to get a 9-inch tread on the front, I'm going to measure 9 inches right from the front, mark 9 inches, and then my support peg will go, the front of my support peg will go on that 9-inch mark. So that'll give me a full 9-inch tread, and then the top treads can go on top of the next one, okay? So hopefully you'll see what I do anyways. Describing it is pretty hard without actually doing it. And I'm trying to hang back here around the camera because of the wind. I got the camera kind of tucked up against the shed right now, so just so you understand how come I'm not trying to get you right out into the project to explain it. So let's continue on. I'll make that 9-inch mark, and then we'll also work out the measurements now for the next pieces. Sometimes as a parent you really got to stop and capture those moments when your kids are getting along with each other, just so when they're older you can show them that they actually did get along at some point, because I'm sure we all know how the later years go, sibling rivalry and all that stuff, you know. So I got my 9 inches marked on this board here, okay? So the first tread is going to be 9 inches. The next support is going to go all the way up here. There's going to be another support, start out here and join onto that, okay? But as far as this support, and this one, and this one, and this one, the 4 back ones are all going to be the same. We want a total height of 18 inches, but not 18 inches. Because the measurements, you know what, let's just do 18 inches. I can dig it down a little bit if it's too high. So just to keep things a bit simple, we'll just do 18 inches for the frame. I'm thinking more so of the 3/4 inch or the 1/2 inch plywood. I think it's 1/2 inch ply I'll be using on this. So I was thinking about that, adding the extra 1/2 inch of height. But like I say, I can just dig it down enough to accommodate that 1/2 inch. It's not a big deal. the frame itself can be a full 18 inches, and I'll manage with that. So again, we're going to have runners on top going from here to here. So we want a total of 18, so we're going to subtract our 3 again. So we'll do 15-inch high risers, and I'll need 4 of those. So I'll cut those now. Alright, so looking at the boards that I have here, I got one 15-inch piece done, but I need 3 more. And I need to save these for the 26-inch top runners. So that means I got this piece here, but as you can see, it's got a wonky angle on the side there. So I'm going to have to rip that down to get rid of this side angle. That gives me one more piece. I still need 2 more. So that is going to come, I got another piece of 2x4 cedar in there. I think I should be able to rip down and make the other 2 legs out of that. Alright, so trying to use every bit of scrap that I got here. Really trying to be resourceful to not get into any big pieces of lumber that I might want for bigger projects at a later date, i.e. a chicken run. So yeah, so I'm going to just keep on picking through the scraps, get what best pieces I can. Hunt around for 15-inch pieces like this. I might actually see one on the floor in there right now, so I might be that much closer. Alright, so I got the table saw. I'm going to get that set up now, and we'll begin ripping down some more 1.5-inch square pieces. Now that we have those 4 risers made, we'll get them screwed into place. Move these out of the way. Alright, so same deal, glue and screw. Maybe easier to do this standing up like this. We shall see. So again, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be putting this behind my 9-inch mark. Alright, so the upward stands are done. Try not to pay too close attention to, say, the angles of the boards, how they're meeting up. I know they're not square. I'm doing this without the miter saw today, just in the interest of speed and using the handsaw. So I'm pretty much going to be bending these pieces however I need them to go in order to get the shape that I'm looking for, okay? So, you know, don't take this as gospel in terms of how to make a step like this. But I tell you what, it's going to turn out just fine, okay? These little tiny angles are easily corrected with a little pull or push or a jig in between, okay? So don't try not to judge me too much on my craftsmanship on this little project. I'm really not putting, you know, the finer details into it. This is making use of wood scrap instead of burning it, actually, you know, giving it a purpose. And I think this will turn out just fine in the end, so bear with me, okay? Alright, so next on the list we'll do a support running across and joining onto here, alright? And then we'll have another support coming back and joining on like so. I may put little supports right here underneath the where it joins on, just because where I'm using these deck screws, they kind of don't have the shearing force that would be exerted down on the inside of this step. Not that we're all that heavy, you know, a couple of screws plus glue should hold it. But to be sure and avoid any problems, I may put a support here. But if I plywood the sides instead of just the treads, then the plywood alone should provide the support enough anyways. So we'll play it by ear. I think I can probably get away without doing this support, but just, you know, to cover my butt, I might do it. We'll see. Alright, so this length right here, let's find out what it is. That's going to be 7.5 inches. Right, 9 inches minus 1.5 inches, 7.5. This is actually 7.25. Depending on how much I torsion this, we could do 7.5. So yeah, we'll do 7.5. Just to make sure this is 1.5 inches. It is. So we'll do 7.5. That'll definitely square up this end right here. Oh, and the sun is coming out and pouring on my shoulders. So let's keep at it. Alright, just so you guys know, I fudged up some of the placement of the wood, so I ended up with 7.5 foot treads at the bottom level now, and I'm going to have probably a 10.5 top plate. And it was all because I misplaced that last cedar stud to the wrong side of that 9-inch line that I had made. But I had already cut my two 7.5 inch pieces, and I don't really have enough wood to be messing around by scrapping it all and starting over with those two pieces. And a 7.5 step with a 10.5 top platform is not a big deal to me. In hindsight, it's probably better because the kids will have more area to stand on when they're up top and play with the chickens and keep them from slipping off and falling. So that's how I'm justifying it, and I'm okay with it. So we're carrying on now at this point, okay? So I repositioned the cedar stud. We got this top one ready to screw in here as well, and we'll move forward. At this point now, we're going to make another frame to do the top step, and that's going to be a 7.5 piece this way on both sides, 7.5 inches, and then going across this way will be 28 inches. All right, so two 28-inch pieces and two 7.5-inch pieces will make the frame for up here. So until we got that ready, we'll lay this aside and we'll do our cuts. Now that we've got the top step frame done, I'll take everything up here and we'll do final frame assembly. I tell you what, using scrap wood with a handsaw or skill saw is definitely not very accurate. So if you're going out there trying to do a precise project with small diameter lumber, good luck. Alright, at least this is only a step. Now don't get me wrong, I've done pretty good projects before with a skill saw, but not out of scrap wood that have random angles everywhere and small diameters so that you can't really get the skill saw to be even and level the whole time. Especially this one piece here. This one's really out of line. Everything else is pretty good. So I'm going to do all the other three corners, and then I'll pry this one into place somehow. Somehow. I don't know how. Depending on how tough it is. Now, so there's our frame. Could probably do one more support. Could probably do with a support across the bottom step here. But I think for what we're using, I'll just put thick plywood on it. Alright, so if I have a thick plywood like this, that should be pretty secure. Alright, that's 3/4 inch ply. If you can't walk on that, there's no odds. Alright, so I'll get the plywood cut. I'm going to just do that off camera. Nothing too spectacular there. And we'll come back and we'll get all this covered in. Yeah, I don't think I'll need anything across here either. I'll just do plywood to plywood. That should be good enough. Alright. Alright, so at the last piece of plywood now. I'm not going to bother with the back. So I'm just going to get this side done. That should be plenty of support for stepping on this. It's probably even over-engineered. I don't think you would hire me to do your cabinetry in your house or anything. Some things, especially with straight lumber and new lumber now, I can do a better job with the miter saw. But this is definitely just a scrap wood job. It's not meant to be, you know, super awesome. It's just meant to serve a purpose for my kids to be able to step on and look at their chickens. Okay, so judge it as so. And the sun is just out killing me. I don't have any sunscreen on, so I'm probably going to have a rosy red head tonight. But anyways, I found the last piece of plywood that has some of my kids' abstract painting on. So I'll try to incorporate that in the step, and we'll call it done. And then we'll get up there and put it in place. So I know I said I wasn't going to do many of the cuts and measurements and plywood and stuff on camera, but I kind of ended up doing a little bit of that. And I'll probably do it right now as well. Alright, so the step is done. Here's the finished product. So we're going to give it its test now. So I'll put this on the ground. We'll get the kids to test it. I'll put my weight on it. I'm sure we're fine, but we'll do it anyways. So guys,
Can I take first?
I'll move this out of the way.
Then just all this.
There we are. That's one. There's test number 2. Now let's see. Alright, no problem. Excellent. So this is ready to go up to the chicken coop. And there'll be no more bringing plastic chairs back and forth. This will be left there. Alright, so let's hop in the mower, put this in the cart, and we'll get trucking. So here we are, we got our new step to put in place. Got my two little helpers here today, and we'll see how this step works out, whether or not I gotta dig a little bit to get the step in place. We will see right now.
We actually got a step. Are you going to dig first?
We're gonna find out.
We'll see this. I don't think we will. Oh, we'll maybe dig up some of the grass.
Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of trimming. So I'll just go down and get the shovel, should be enough for this. And get that evened out. And then we're all set. So that concludes our video on making a set of steps. We got them leveled, in place, nice and solid, and as you saw, the kids are using them great. So all around, great little project, great use of scrap wood, never spent a penny beyond what I've already spent in the past for the previous purposes. And now the kids can easily get up there and see their chickens without dragging their little plastic chairs across the yard. Alright, so I'm glad today the wind cooperated. I'm pretty sure there should be very little wind noise in today's video, so I tried talking a bit more with you guys today outside. So once I get to editing, I'll find out if that is the case, and if so, I'm very thankful to be able to interact with you guys a little more during a project. Alright, so we'll see you guys next time for probably an update on the garden. Still waiting on fence wood to finish off the boundary fence, and whatever other projects that we come up with, I'll be sure to try and record and share with you guys. So until that happens, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out!
Peace